Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time. I'm going to do some college football picks and predictions. It is official. Last week, the regular season ended. It flew by. It came. It went so quickly. It's actually a pretty sad thing to see it go. But now we're off to the bowl games for those teams that actually decided to go bowl games. Some of them are saying no. And the playoffs. The playoffs, obviously, hotly debated what happened 9 through 12. We all know there's some teams that probably shouldn't have been there. There's some teams that are in that might not have should have been there. There's a lot of different opinions on it. But all that we can do is go forward and predict the outcome to the games we have coming up. We have no official playoffs happening this weekend, but next week, Friday night, Saturday, all day Saturday, we have the first round of the college football playoffs. Bunch of bowl games going down. We'll have a bowl predictions video. We'll go over every single bowl game all the way through the end of the season. But we're going to be touching on that first round of the playoffs, this video predicting kind of who's going to win. We're not going to give a final score prediction. That'll happen probably next week because there's almost 2 full weeks till these games actually come. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be, as crazy as it sounds, there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that enter the portal that don't even play for their teams. There's guys that are hurt right now. These games are so far off. They're going to be there for the teams. We're just going to wait for a little more info to come out. These Vegas lines and spreads, they're going to be moving the entire time because it's almost 2 weeks. There's going to be some drastic movement. So we'll wait till we get a little closer, but that doesn't mean that we can do an early prediction on who's going to win the game and just kind of break down the teams. We'll be picking the winner, loser, and we'll also touch on the best bets as of right now, the money line, the spread, the over-unders. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. Who do you think is going to win these games? Drop your final score predictions, why you think they're going to win. Leave it in the comment section. I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment below. 4 games in total. Obviously, that 1 through 4, they don't have to play the first round. They'll be picking up next round. So you have 8 teams in total playing right now. You have the 2 teams from the Power 5, which those are teams a lot of people are pissed off. Let's just call it like it is. Let's be honest. Yeah, we all love the Cinderella story, but there's no way in hell. These teams have no way in hell to even be competitive in these games. They're just hoping to be on the plus side of the spread. They don't want the Power 4 team to actually cover the spread. They just want some respect. That's all they want right now. That's Tulane. That's James Madison. They're going to get walloped. They're going to get their backs blown out. It is what it is. We have 2 good teams, 2 good games actually, because you have 2 that are going to be blowouts. You have 2 matchups that are actually Power 4 teams facing off one another. That's where all eyes are going to be. Those teams that actually lined up with a group of 5 team, good luck to you because you're obviously going to be moving on to the next round. Those other ones are going to be competitive. Those teams have a little bit of a harder road potentially to the national championship, but it's good football for us fans to watch. The very first game we have, this is the only Friday playoff game coming up next Friday, not this one, next Friday, December 19th, 8 p.m. on ABC. Number 9, the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm on record saying if you play in your conference championship, you should not get booted out of the playoffs unless you get boat raced. Alabama did indeed get boat raced. Personally, I didn't think that they should have made the playoffs. Notre Dame, Miami, in my personal opinion, they both should have been in. They should have been 9-10, but we all know there's kind of a little bit of bias here. It's politics. They went the safe route. They left Alabama in there. Alabama could very well win this game. Would not surprise me at all because Oklahoma's offense, it is very hard to watch. They're the SEC version of Iowa right now for the Big Ten. Great defense, elite defense, top 10 defense. Brent Venables, what he does on the defensive side, it's elite. That's who Bama's playing. Number 8, the Oklahoma Sooners. They are 10-2. Right now, obviously, Oklahoma won the head-to-head. These teams faced off earlier in the season. Sooners won a close game. Bama had 200 more offensive yards in Oklahoma. John Mateer, things just haven't really panned out. They don't have a great running game. They don't have a true, legit, deep wide receiver core. Some guys have been stepping up the last couple weeks, but overall, this is not a good wide receiver core. Mateer, since he broke his hand, he's not been the same, but it's not just the hand. He's making bad reads. He's not seeing stuff right. Things just kind of went off. It did not get better at any point of the season. They've been winning via old school smash mouth style football. They've been out there running 1980s football, but they're winning games. It is what it is. They won their way into the college football playoff. Sooners right now, the fan vote, 49.1% chance to win. Alabama, a 50.9% chance. Pretty much practically a 50-50 split down the middle with the fans. Looking at the spread as of right now, like I said, these lines are going to change, especially if there's any injuries. There's a lot of practices coming up at the first round. People are going to get hurt. Bama, 1.5 point favorites, a 40.5 over under. Vegas sees a very low scoring game. Definitely understand why the Crimson Tide offense has not been playing well the last couple weeks. Basically, the last 5 to 6 weeks, Bama's looked really bad. Defense hasn't been playing well. Kalen DeBoer, Grubbs. They love the vertical passing game. You have Bernard. Ryan Williams has been very quiet the last couple weeks. You had Miller getting banged up. He missed some time. They're only averaging 31.2 points a game, throwing for 273.2, running for 116.2, giving up 17.4 points a game. Really good secondary, though. That's one thing that they have, but Oklahoma's not really going to throw it that much on the field. They're only giving up 157.7 pass yards per game. That's a good defense for Alabama, 125.6 on the ground. But this offense here, Ty Simpson in the last couple weeks, when you can't run the ball, running is a quarterback's best friend, takes away the play action. He's not been the same. The offensive line's had some hold. When he's under pressure, he's not making good reads because he feels rushed. It's not fully his fault. Maybe it exposed a couple things, but they didn't look good the LSU game. They didn't look good the Oklahoma game. They didn't look good the Auburn game. They actually looked really bad, the Auburn game. And they looked god-awful, the Georgia Bulldogs game. That game should have kicked them out of the playoffs, in my personal opinion. And it's not just me. The majority of the country thinks Bama should have gotten booted. Bama fans, Bama players, Bama Heisman winners coming out saying Bama has no business being in the playoffs because they're just being honest and unbiased. The Sooners, though, 26.4 points a game. If there's an offense playing worse than Alabama right now, it's definitely Oklahoma. They're throwing for 229.9, running for 123.8, giving up 13.9 points a game. That's a top 10 defense in the country. Right now, I think it's number 7 overall. They lead the SEC in sacks. They live in the backfield. They create havoc in the backfield. Havoc leads to turnovers. But can the Oklahoma defense did it again? They basically won this game single-handedly the first time these teams met. But like the old, football adage, it is hard to beat a good team twice in one season. Oklahoma stole that game during the regular season. Bama should have won that game. They did everything they could to win that game, but Oklahoma forced so many turnovers, and Bama's offense, they were more than willing to give up the ball constantly nonstop, not get first downs when they needed it. That Oklahoma defense, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Even though Bama shouldn't have made the playoffs, in my opinion, and in the majority of the people's opinion, I think they have a very high likelihood to win this first round. Right now, Oklahoma giving up 192.2 through the year, 81.4 on the ground. That's where that front seven comes in. They are creating havoc back there. And Bama doesn't run the ball well anyways. It's going to be even more difficult for them to run here. If Simpson can't have any type of run game to help him out, this Oklahoma front seven, they're going to pin their ears back. They're going to be in his face in the backfield the entire game. But can the Oklahoma Sooners offense take advantage of the short field, turn that into points? If I had to pick a team to win right now, I'm going to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide to pull off a game. I think there's going to be a very close, low-scoring game, kind of similar to the game that happened last time, but I think Bama's going to come out on the winning side. I do have Alabama win this one. Like I said in the video earlier, we'll have our prediction video coming up. And now moving on to our Saturday games. Next Saturday, December 20th, 12 p.m. on ABC. This is a good matchup. This is our two Power 4 versus Power 4 games. After this, going to be a couple blowouts. We have number 10, the Miami Hurricanes, riding a 4-game winning streak, just curb-stomping teams the last month. They're 10-2. They're going to be on the road here at College Station. Very difficult place to play. It's going to be rabid. There's going to be 100,000 fans outside. There's going to be 200,000 people outside the stadium yelling. The stadium's going to be packed. Miami's been here before. They played in College Station, 3 years ago or so? They dropped that game. But this is two completely different teams. Obviously, Jimbo Fisher is not even there no more. The Aggies 11-1. I said the entire season, I thought they were just a little bit overrated because they avoided everybody in the SEC. They didn't play Bama. They didn't play Oklahoma. They didn't play Georgia. They got Texas the final game of the season. They lost it when they lost it convincingly. But no worries. If you are an Aggies fan, yes, you want to win that game. That's a rivalry game, in-state matchup. But it really didn't mean anything. Yes, it cost you the SEC championship, but at the end of the day, honestly, who cares? You were going to make the playoffs anyways. Everything is in front of you. Every team has a bad game. You had a bad game. It is what it is. You move on. This team is loaded. Top 10 overall rosters, actually, for both teams. The Aggies, you have Marcel Reed throwing the ball vertically down the field. What he can do with his legs. He's, some people classify him as a dual threat quarterback. Some would just say he's just a passing quarterback who's extremely mobile. He's not looking to run. He's looking to beat you vertically down the field. But if you leave it there, if you flush him out of the pocket, if the first down there, he's going to take off. He's going to get it, and he's going to get some more. You have Concepcion. You have Craver, one of the best wide receiver corps in the nation. This is a Mike Elko team. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be physical. They're going to have a solid defense. They're going to be attacking you at the line of scrimmage. But again, Miami. Some people, oh, they're from the ACC, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what conference you're in. ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC. Talent is talent. Top 10 overall rosters, no matter what conference you're in. Being in a conference doesn't make you better. It's recruiting, it's transfer portal wise. Miami Hurricanes are built at the line of scrimmage. This is one of those teams you can ask anyone, especially anyone who's actually watched them play. They can line up with any team in the nation and they can match you at the line of scrimmage. They're loaded with first round picks. They have 2 first rounders on the offensive line right now. They have 2 defensive tackles in the first round right now. Ask Mel Kiper, ask any prediction. They got Mesidor. They have Ruben Bain. Both those guys are going to be going in the top 15 in the NFL draft. They get after it. They're going to come after you. But the Aggies are more than happy to meet you because neither of these teams are more talented than the other. It's just 2 different teams that attack you different ways. It's ACC versus SEC. Who's going to come out on top? The fan vote, the Aggies 54.3% chance to win, Miami 45.7%. It was honestly an incredible thing to watch when they put the orange up on the board for the CFP poll and they announced Miami would be making it at 10. When I saw Bama at 9, although Bama should not have been there, guys, sorry to keep bringing that up. I thought for sure Notre Dame was going to be 10, but it was Miami. I thought Miami, I've been saying it for weeks, Miami should be in front of Notre Dame. You have to respect the head-to-head, but I think the Irish should have got in. I think Miami should have been 9, Notre Dame should have been 10, but it's too late now. Right now, the Aggies at home, 3.5-point favorites. Being at home is worth 3 points. So basically, Vegas is saying this game on a neutral field, it's a pick 'em. It could go either way. Incredible game. And it sucks for either of these teams because they have the hardest road to the national championship because you have other teams playing group of 5 teams and Bama, Oklahoma, Miami Aggies. They actually have to go through a gauntlet. First round out the gate, you have Power 4 matchups. Miami Aggies, whoever moves on this has to go next week and play the Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national champions, the one that have been number 1 the entire season, up to losing a close one this past week to Indiana. That's a gauntlet of a run here. Right now, Miami, obviously Carson Beck, very familiar with the SEC, familiar with the SEC atmospheres. The biggest question I have about Carson Beck is, which version of Carson Beck shows up? We've seen Beck at his best. We've seen him throw 4 touchdowns versus Pitt. We've seen him be elite. But sometimes he locks on to Malachi Toney, CJ Daniels, Marion, Lyle Lofton, all the weapons they have, Pringle and Fletcher and all these guys. Sometimes he just gets zoned in on Malachi Toney no matter what. They'll be at the goal line. He's throwing it to Malachi Toney, even if he's draped in triple coverage. It's at those times. You've seen games like first Louisville, SMU, one of those games he had 4 interception, boneheaded picks sometimes. He's an experienced guy. He's a 5th-year senior. Sometimes it makes you scratch your head, but sometimes he shows you there's NFL talent there. If good Carson Beck shows up here, he's going to peel the A&M defense apart. They don't have a bad defense. They don't have a good defense. They just have a pretty decent defense, an above-average defense. Miami has a very good defense coming in here with the number 6 national defense in the entire country. They get after it. Top 10 overall rush defense also. The Hurricanes, 34.1 points a game. But again, does Mario Cristobal, not a good game day coach, but does he hamstrung Shannon Dolphins and this offense? Does he want to run old 1990s offense like he did those 2 losing games? It was obvious. Shannon Dawson was not calling the plays he wanted to call. Then after that, they had no option. They had to open it up, bring out that Cam Ward offense from last year, and they opened up the floodgates. The Miami team the last 4 months can compete with anyone in the nation. They're throwing for 275.8, running for 150.1, only giving up 13.8 points a game. This team had the number 78 defense last year. They got rid of the D coordinator. Heatherman comes over, and this defense, it is so simple. It is beautiful. They get after it. They have a secondary. Like I said when the video started, we don't know what pieces are going to be coming back because these games are in a week and a half, 2 weeks. They might get Keontae Scott back. He's probably the 3rd best defensive player on this team. You got so many weapons. The secondary rebuilt, revamped. They get after it. They're giving up 190.9 through the air, but it's that D-line. It's that front 7 giving up 86.8 on the ground. That's what separates this team. But don't overlook the Aggies. They can match you man for man across the lines, anywhere on the line of scrimmage. The playmakers, this wide receiver core is going to test this Miami secondary. They're averaging 36.3 points a game in the SEC. Don't forget about that. Throwing for 261.8, running for 192.7. I honestly think their ground attack, that's the strength. That wide receiver core, as good as it is, that actually opens up the rush game. And, through that, the rushing game opens up the play action, and round we go. They're running for 193. So it's strength on strength. This Aggies balanced attack versus this Miami front seven, and they're getting 21.9 points a game, 182.8 through the air, 127.1 on the ground. If you were to attack the Aggies, it's probably on the ground and pound, not running through the A and B, kind of stretching things out, the outside runs, spreading the field out. But Miami really hasn't been running the ball successfully this season. Fletcher, Pringle, they got good running backs, but it just hasn't really adapted. They haven't had that game where the running game just broke open. They can situationally run, especially in short yardage situations, because Malyoga and that offensive line, they have a very good offensive line. Obviously, that's Cristobal's specialty. This is a game, I'm not going to lie, I have to revisit this once we get closer, because just like the fan vote here, I'm split down the middle. This is a pick-em game to me. Flip a coin, because there's just so many things. Which version of the Aggies shows up? Do we get the South Carolina version? Do we get the Texas version? Or do we get the version that came out there, went blow for blow with Notre Dame and stuff like that at Notre Dame, team that the offense was so great? And what version of Miami shows up? We have a Miami that sometimes looks like they're a national championship team. Sometimes they look like they're a mid-tier ACC team. Which version of Miami shows up? Both teams have national championship rosters, talent, but sometimes they lay an egg. Whoever lays an egg here, that's the unknown. As of right now, though, this is a stretch. Give me the Miami Hurricanes to pull off the win, setting up a rematch of the national championship over 2 decades ago. Miami wants some payback. Maybe they'll get a chance there versus the Ohio State Buckeyes, but we'll revisit that one later. And moving on to our next Saturday game, 3:30 p.m. TNT, number 11 Tulane. We're getting into that group of 5 here. 11-2 Tulane. Obviously, Summerall taking the head coaching job for the Florida Gators, but are letting him coach the playoffs here. He's coming out of winning his conference. They're having a great season so far. You can't knock it. But these teams actually played earlier this season. Kind of takes a little bit of that luster off this game because Ole Miss, they waxed the floor with Tulane. There's that saying, it's hard to beat a good team twice. I don't think that applies here. They're going up on the road versus number 6, the Ole Miss Rebels, 11-1. Obviously, the storyline that's been dominating college football since Brian Kelly, since Napier got fired, was Lane Kiffin. If Ole Miss had Lane Kiffin, I honestly think this is a team that could have competed for the national championship. But without him, without his leadership, like him or not, the general of the team is gone. Yes, the coordinators are still there. Golding's still there calling defensive plays. Not that they had a great defense, but it was a pretty decent defense. And then you have Charlie Weiss Jr. coming back to call the offensive plays. Helps this team out. Familiarity, especially with their quarterback, who this is his first season on the roster. Shampa's having a great season so far. Ole Miss, 84% chance to win. If they win this, which they probably are, let's just call it like it is, they're probably going to be playing the Georgia Bulldogs. That's a team they should have beat during the regular season. They dominated that entire game, controlled the entire game till the very end. They gave it up to the Bulldogs. If they were to play again, I think Ole Miss might have been able to pull it off. But without Lane Kiffin, it's going to be a hard road up to see where this team could go. This is unheard of for a coach to leave during a playoff run in the playoffs. So I feel bad for the Rebels here because this is a team that really could have done it. Right now, Ole Miss, 84% chance to win. Tulane, 16% chance. But we got to give Tulane a little bit of credit here. They won their conference. Decent overall team, but one thing that I'll say about this, usually one team has a strength. You're usually good at offense, throwing the ball, running the ball, defensive team. They're not really necessarily good at anything. They don't have a great offense. They don't have a great defense. They're not a great passing team. They're not a great running team. They're just a, decent, good overall team. The Rebels, 16.5-point favorites. I think they can cover that, and they're 56.5 over under. Tulane, obviously, Retzlaff, the BYU transfer quarterback, he left the team right before the season started, finished with 2,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's also the leading rusher with 610 rushing yards. Overall, they don't have a great rushing. They don't have a bad rushing team statistical-wise, but they don't have a guy that they can rely on third short yardage situations. It's going to be the quarterback. You have to account for him. But versus an SEC front seven, they're going to be physical. They're going to bottle up, keep him in the pocket, force him to third and long situations. Will Rhett Lapp be able to beat them vertically through the passing game? Massive task there. Tulane, 29.1 points a game. Throwing for 240.5, running for 170.2, giving up 22.6 points a game. Obviously, 29.1 points a game puts you in the bottom half of college football Division I teams. 22.6 points a game defense. It's not bad. It's probably around 50th nationally, 60th nationally. So they're not great at either of those things. And they're going up against an Ole Miss team here who they're probably going to be a little pissed off. Their coach left him. People are starting to write him off. Now it's the time. This is a team that actually benefits from playing a group of 5 team, because this is a first game without Lane Kiffin. It's kind of a baby steps there. Work a couple things out. Get ready for the Georgia game. Figure stuff out now versus Tulane before you have to face the Bulldogs. Thankfully, Chambliss here, since he took over the starting quarterback, this team never looked bad. He's got dual threat capabilities. He can scramble, take off for first downs, 3,100 yards, 18 touchdowns, 3 picks. Wasn't even the starter. Didn't start for the first couple games. Still put up Heisman numbers. Lacey, 20 rushing touchdowns, leading the SEC, 1,300 yards. Talented deep wide receiver core, 37.3 points a game. Throwing for 309.6, running for 188.5, just under 500 yards of offense per game coming out of the SEC. This seems good, giving up 20.1 points a game. They give up 182.6 through the air, 150.5 on the ground. You can maybe gash them, attack them on the ground, a ground and pound. But this Tulane offensive line versus this Ole Miss front seven, guys, sorry, I'm not buying it. We're not doing score predictions. If I was, I'd have Ole Miss covering the spread. Give me the Rebels to just outright win this game. And a final game we're going to be taking a look at for our early preview of round 1 of the playoffs, our final game for round 1, TNT, 7:30 p.m. TNT's getting some pretty good games this week. You have number 12, JMU, James Madison, both Tulane. James Madison obviously not in the top 12, but they were the guys that got bought in, because your 5 highest conference champions happen to be them. It's kind of pathetic. We're going to be doing away with those buy-ins here for the 5 conference champs, because, not to be mean, but the Cinderella story, Tulane, JMU, they have no business being in the playoffs. We left teams that can not just compete in the playoffs, but national championship worthy teams that now aren't in the playoffs. It pisses people off, pisses the fans off. They want good football. It's unfortunately, and for all the broadcasters, for the people buying advertisements, no one's going to want to air advertisements. Tulane, Ole Miss, JMU versus number 5, 11-1 Oregon Ducks. People wanted Oregon versus Notre Dame. They wanted Ole Miss versus Texas. That stuff sells. For us unbiased fans, we want good football. We don't want 30, 20-point favorite football games, but it is what it is. Well, better football next week. The Ducks here, 88% chance to win this game. It's 99.9. Let's call it like it is. They have a 99.9% chance to win. James Madison, give them some credit, 12-1. They didn't beat a Power 4 team this season. Come on. 12-1. Right now, the Ducks, 21-point favorites. It's a playoff game, 21-point favorites, 50.5 over-under. Obviously, when you're looking at these teams, Oregon, top 10 overall roster. This team is loaded. Dan Lanning, recruiting, portal. He's been stacking this team. But what I appreciate, he builds this team at the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack, from the inside, from the middle out. They can line up with anyone. This is, hands down, it's nationally praised as the best offensive line in the country. They're going to line it up. They're going to run it right at you. They're going to be pushing JMU right off the point of attack. They're going to be just bulldozing them, running downhill. They'll have the backups in at halftime. But unlike last season, this is a team that went undefeated last year during the regular season, won the Big Ten championship. Then they didn't get to play football for 3 or 4 weeks, went up versus the Buckeyes, second time playing them, lost that one. It wasn't fair. They don't have that issue. Now they're just flat playing football for 2 weeks. They get a group of 5 team. They get to blow the doors off them, get oiled back up, ready to get back into the true playoffs, which would be the week after this. Right now, the Ducks, just so much talent. Obviously, Dante Moore, what he's been doing first season starting, 2,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 picks. Again, not a dual threat quarterback, but if you leave it there, this guy's going to take off for 20 to 30 yards. Whittington, Benson, there's been a lot of news on who some of the guys are they might be getting back. They might have Stewart back this game. That was a high 4, 5-star on most websites. If they can add him back to this roster, this team is really going to take off. They're good now. This is a team, a national championship caliber team. James Madison, they're going to have to play a perfect game to even keep this game close. Barnett the third, closing in on 2,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks. I don't want to be mean to James Madison. We just like to call things like they are. Knight, 1,300 rushing yards, but are you going to be able to run on the Oregon Ducks coming in here with a top 10 national defense? James Madison, 37.3 points a game, throwing for 202.5, running for 245.8. Actually, very balanced attack, about 450 yards of offense per game. But they're not going to get that versus the Ducks. They're giving up 15.8. Really good numbers overall. 76.2 on the ground. Great rush defense. But that's front seven for Oregon. they're going to have their work cut out for them versus the number one offensive line out of the Big Ten in the entire country. The Ducks 38.2 points a game, throwing for 246.8, running for 218.4 in an extremely loaded Big Ten defensive conference. Big Ten, some of the best defenses in the nation, and they're still getting almost 500 yards of offense, just running downhill, just bulldozing people. Top 10 rushing team in the entire country, and they're only getting up 14.8 points a game. Look at this secondary. Only 144.3 on the ground. Teams don't even have time to throw the ball. You'll have 1.5 seconds, and Barnett's going to have to get it off. They're giving up 107.3. This is a game, obviously, once we get into the score predictions, it's going to be a little tougher to try to get as close to hitting that score on the head as possible. But no doubt here, I have the Ducks walking away with the win. So, guys, that's it. That's our early preview and prediction on the first round of the college football playoffs. As we get a little closer, we'll let this week go by. Around next week, we'll start doing actual game score predictions, looking in depth on those spreads, money lines, over-runners. We'll be breaking it down, trying to get as close as we can to what's going to happen on the field. But make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. Who do you think is going to win these games? What's your final score predictions? Leave it in the comment section. I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out the pinned comment down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching.